This is going to be a problem. Okay. We're good.
Okay. September 10th, AA thought for the day. Here are answered. Oh.
I'm April and I'm an alcoholic.
Amanda, I'm qualified to be here. AA thought for the day. Oh, where'd it go? Here are the answers to the questions of how a person can live without liquor and be happy. The things we put in place of drinking are more than just substitutes for it. One is the Fellowship of Alcoholics Anonymous. In this company, you will find release from care, boredom, and worry. Your imagination will be fired. Life will mean something at last. The most satisfactory years of your existence lie ahead. Among others, AAs, you will make lifelong friends. You will be bound to them with new and wonderful ties. How does life mean something new to me now? Meditation for the day. Do you want the full and complete satisfaction that you find both in serving God and in the satisfactions of the world? It is not easy to serve both God and the world. It is difficult to claim the rewards for both. If you must be prepared to find you must be prepared to find you must be prepared to sometimes stand apart from the world. There we go.
Boom.
You cannot always turn to the world and expect all the rewards that life has to offer. If you are trying sincerely to serve God, you will have other and greater rewards than the world has to offer. Prayer for the day. I pray that I may not expect too much from the world. I pray that I may also be content with the rewards that come from serving God.
Amen.
Oh, that's a good one.
I pray that I may not expect too much from the world. I pray that I may also be content with the rewards that come from serving God.
I like that. That's good.
Expectation. That word is everywhere for me lately. Everywhere for me lately. And I have actually been through some shit this past couple weeks that has helped me. It's always when I feel the most frustrated and like I'm running into a wall with something. If I feel a sense of defeat in any way, there is a lesson there for me. And I'm learning a lot about the expectations I do place on the world and on other people. And I also realized that I'm not somebody who does very well with expectations being put on me either. In regards to worldly reward versus spiritual. And the prayer is to be content. Having the spiritual relationship I do with my higher power at this point, content doesn't even begin to scratch the surface. Like, that word does not do justice to the reward that I feel. It's different though. Like, letting go of worldly reward is painful. It's a painful process, and it took me probably a good year, honestly, to really appreciate the spiritual reward and detach from the desire for material reward, if that makes sense.
Makes a lot of sense.
Right. I believe that we're spiritual beings, right? Living this physical experience.
Mm-hmm.
And AA has done more than anything else in my life to teach me that. Like, this is not just a physical existence. This is everything about us is spiritual, because AA brought me to fellowship, which is spiritual. It brought me to my higher power, which is everything. That was the void I was trying to fill all those years. But it brought me to a spiritual relationship with myself as well. And I forgot where I was going with this, actually.
I really like the way that you just put that.
Okay.
For me, that's where I'd like to be. I'd like for my own. I'm getting there slowly but surely. I'm going through some pretty intense trials right now, and I feel that I'm being absolutely tested by, like this big thing that's like way above me. Um, but I'm doing my best to keep fighting, you know.
You're doing well.
Thank you. I've got, if I don't continue to fight, then I'm going to lose myself and I'm going to die. And I don't want to die. I wanted to die for a really long time, but I don't want to die anymore. So I feel that if I, that's why I'm throwing myself into the recovery as much as I am. I'm, doing this and I'm doing that and I'm doing the fellowship and I'm, talking to people and I'm reaching out and I'm just doing this big slew of things. And if it wasn't for people and people understanding, maybe not necessarily what I'm going through, but at least the emotions, I wouldn't be here.
Right, right.
I respect the heck out of the fellowship and in general and out of the program. Because I mean, like you said, it's like we're spiritual beings having like a bodily experience, and my spirit was completely depleted at one point, and
Well, it's like because drugs do something. They reward us in some way and they help us escape and they numb and we're not experiencing what we're supposed to experience and it's this pseudo pleasure because it's not really. And we're chasing something the whole
Absolutely.
time. And so what recovery does and getting to know yourself and developing a relationship with a higher power and a fellowship is it fills in all those gaps and you don't have to chase anything. I think it's really important, especially in the beginning, and I did get accused quite a few times, especially by a certain relative of mine, of being in a cult or being obsessed or AA is my new addiction or whatever, recovery is my new addiction, and brainwashed, all the things were thrown at me. But honestly, at the end of the day, I fought really hard to get meth and I would do anything to get fucked up.
Yep.
And so I think being an extremist, it worked for me. And I think it does work for a lot of people who really put themselves into it to chase recovery with the same fervency. And now it's like I'm not chasing anymore. I'm serene. I don't have to chase anything. There's no more exhaustion. There's no more disappointment. And I think that comes from the expectation stuff.
Absolutely.
One thing that's really cool is I don't have expectations on people. And I wouldn't say I have expectations on God, but I trust. Right? So I try not to put intentional expectations on any circumstance or person or place or event or even God, because expectations are where I fall the hardest from, because I am somebody who historically puts very high expectations on things, and I think that's why I'm so about it now.
Right.
But I am building a trust. So I don't have specific expectations, but I have this very confident trust that everything is going to work the way it's supposed to.
Yep.
So I've been given expectations was replaced with trust, and it's it's not high or low, it's just a freedom and a serenity and an assurance, really. So there's nothing that I can be disappointed from, because it's been proven to me that things work out the way that they're supposed to, and I have a trust in the entire process. But I think that comes from learning to love myself and not
looking for the next turn.
There's nothing to figure out anymore. There's nothing to I do have to process things, and I need to put effort into fixing certain things because I'm broken and life is far from perfect. But I would take my best day of using. I wouldn't trade my best day of using for my worst day now. And so that's a trust, not an expectation that life is good now.
Yep.
It's hard, but it's good.
I think the saying, the best things in life don't come free.
Hard sometimes. Life isn't hard. It's hard sometimes.
Right. I mean, it can be hard, but then your heart is different than my heart. You know what I mean? something that's hard for me may not be hard for somebody else, and something that's hard for somebody else may not be hard for me.
Right, right.
And for me, it's not looking for that external validation anymore. It has to come from within, and that's where like that the whole trust comes in. That's something that I have a really hard time with, because things and people and situations that I have trusted have led me into a deep dark hole, and not everything is going to be like that. Not everybody is out to hurt me. Not everybody, is out to get something. Not everybody's out there to get something from me. Not everybody's out there to do me and any type of negative. A lot of the things that I'm realizing within myself is I did to myself.
Right.
And that for me is a really, really hard pill to swallow. So it's not that I'm not going to say that I don't have expectations of people, or I don't have expectations of situations, because for me, I'm human, and sometimes I put, I don't put one foot in front of the other sometimes. And it's like, okay, well, this person told me this, and this is going to happen, but it doesn't happen that way, and I have to be okay with that. And that's what I'm learning to do, is be okay, or at least accept. I don't necessarily have to be okay, but I have to accept the situations and the things that are coming and being put in front of me.
Right, right.
So I really like like pretty much what you said about like the trust and not necessarily having it be an expectation. You're right. Life is hard sometimes, but for me now, today is not as hard as I was when I was sick.
And another thing is like, our trust is broken,
Right.
right? Whether it's a lot of people in recovery. My trust was broken by the people I chose to love.
Right.
And I think I loved in a way where it was whatever best suited my addiction. If I'm being completely honest. And a lot of relationships I was afraid of love. Well, anyway, we don't have to go, that's a whole nother freaking discussion. But our trust is broken because we've put expectations and trust into the wrong people.
Right.
And part of recovery is like, I'm finally getting to a point, kind of, maybe sort of, where I don't hesitate to love, because love doesn't hurt when you put some effort into yourself and you learn to love yourself. You start to gain this discernment for the world. And there's spiritual warfare. There's light and there's darkness. There's bad and there's good. And the further along we get in a spiritual program, the more we can differentiate the light from the dark. The more it's easy to see the deception. It's easier to know what we're worth and not settle for anything less, like, that ain't good for me.
Right.
Because there's so much, our perceptions are so diluted from addiction and selfishness and whatever,
Right.
And so it's like, yeah, for me, I'm finally getting to a place where it's okay to love. It's okay to be loved, and it doesn't make me vulnerable or like setting myself up for the worst pain ever, because I'm recognizing who is safe to love. And it's not even about safety. I'm getting to a place where I don't want to share energy with people who aren't good for me.
Right.
That took a long time.
Right.
Behavioral therapy twice a week for 2 years. Yeah.
But it's a good place to be at.
Yes, it is.
I'm going to get there.
We're going on a retreat
We are.
in like a couple hours.
This is going to be so awesome. I'm super pumped.
We're going on the women's spiritual retreat. Amanda has not been to one yet. And so I have a pretty good idea of how amazing her weekend's going to be and how amazing my weekend's going to be. But I don't even really fully know, because it's just a very magical place. Magical women, magical energy. It's just magic. I love you. I really do. Thank you. If you made it all the way to the end of this 15-minute video.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.